5G is so important because it's not an evolution of the 4G. It's a dramatical change. So it's a tipping point. This is about a new kind of services as robotics, as artificial intelligence, augmented reality. And then the topology of the networks is not like the 4G topology. I mean, in the 5G, optical fiber to the tower is a must, edge computing is a must, but also to improve the densification in the very dense areas. Also, the corridors in terms of transport corridors is also a must. We cannot imagine motorways, trains without enough bandwidth because autonomous car and autonomous train will be a reality sooner than later.
Well, key things for Europe to deliver on the digital decade, in my view, is really to look at the connectivity ecosystem as a whole. So we need to look at the supply side, networks, how can we better build them, develop a policy framing around them that incentivizes investment, looks at costs, and also looks at the general holistic picture so that it is financially sustainable for operators, of course, to invest, but also then that consumers at the end will get the best benefits and services from this infrastructure.
5G is very important because it will enhance the competitiveness of our economy and the competitiveness of the European Union as a whole, and it will let new services be developed that will have an important positive impact on our societies. Towercos will play and are indeed already playing a key role in digitalization because they are kind of the nexus between network operators and the final customers. So their effort in deploying infrastructure and doing new investments will be key for advancing into the final targets of the digital decade.
Innovation and connectivity are really the key for development of the industry and countries, and we are really delighted to be part of the Wireless Infrastructure Association, and we will contribute the more we can to support them to progress together.
The TowerCo model is pretty new, and it has been up in the last 5 years, so it's not that well known. And events like the EWIA event of today help to grow the notoriety of the TowerCo business model. And now we are the main players. We represent a lot of investment. Our chairman, Tobias Martinez, mentioned 100 billion euros of investments. And therefore, people need to be aware that the world has a bit changed. Now, infrastructure is owned by TowerCos. This was not the case 10 years ago. And events like today help to understand the new paradigm of the mobile industry.
Our first goal is really to active contributing to the development of the network by committing ourselves for a law simplification by way of example like permits all across Europe, and implement rural area connectivity strategy in order to have a faster 5G rollout. The business cases for rural fibers is really a challenge in Europe, and delivering connectivity via fixed wireless access should be considered when the cost to deploy the fiber for the truly remote and hard to reach area is too high.
A lot of pieces have to come together to deliver on the digital decade, but I think there's really three key things that are coming out of this conference today. So number one is the whole industry is in it together, so we need to work together, the regulators, policymakers, the mobile operators, other telco operators, and then the TowerCos as well. So we have to work together, not against each other, and that's not always easy, but conferences like this help to bring it together. Second, we see there's a lot of hurdles still out there, and they're quite fragmented and different in different countries. So really thinking about how they can be addressed. Can you find local solutions, or do you need national governments to intervene, or is it on a European level? So overcoming the hurdles or addressing them. And linked to that, the third one is really harmonization and learning from each other, from best practices across Europe and indeed the world. How can you deploy infrastructure better and faster?
Towercos provide the foundation for mobile connectivity, a vital role often noticed and undervalued by policymakers and the public in the past. Hence, we value the attention the Commission is paying to our industry. As neutral and independent hosts for wireless communications infrastructure, we are major drivers for future and current connectivity. To help achieve the EU's digital targets, we are ready to invest and make connectivity possible everywhere. We are looking forward to the revision of the Broadband Cost Reduction Directive, aiming at a regulatory framework that is harmonized between member states, facilitating access to public and private land and facilitating permitting processes. Passive infrastructure sharing is going to facilitate cost-effective deployment of 5G infrastructure and is going to help to achieve the EU's digital targets. Passive infrastructure sharing decreases the environmental impact of the deployment of infrastructure.
The future role of the independent tower cos is becoming more and more important. Just 3 or 4 years ago, no one was aware of what does it mean. But currently, we are the long-term and trustable partners of our customers, which is the telecom operators mainly, but we are also becoming more and more relevant for public administration. Why? Because we are taking care of the coverage on very low dense areas of every country. We are covering transport corridors, and we are also taking care of end-to-end solutions like emergency services. So more and more telecom operators and tower cos are partnering, and we are becoming just one of the relevant parts of the value chain of the telecom sector.